Let's find out if anyone does get thrown into the arena. We are kicking things off with a matchup of my own, DOWSEY versus Alexare here. I took first place in Group D due to point difference, I think it was, over JY. We both had the same score, 2 wins and a tie. The tie was with each other. Alexare took second in Group C, where he beat both Human Kirby and Oark, known as Tufty Indigo, and then lost to Turnip Boy in the final matchup of the group. And so going to be an interesting one here. Alexare so far has only been tested against other players from Challenger, but Turnip Boy obviously finishing third, I believe, overall in the Challenger division, and now playing against myself.
Yeah, this is certainly going to be an interesting matchup. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Either way, I think we've talked for long enough. We may as well get right on into the action here. Starting things off, as we have mentioned, on Veranda, any 5 of 8, a very large map to start off the festivities on. DOWSEY will be taking the spy side to open the night. Alexare on the sniper in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
I think important to note, Alexare being able to pick the roles, decides to snipe first, maybe wanting to get a nice sniper win to start the night off against DOWSEY.
Yeah, there are definitely 2 different minds about this. Usually playing sniper first is more comfortable because snipers are generally a little bit favored in the game of SpyParty in general, so starting off with the win is always good for morale, and being that extra point up is always a psychological edge. But if you can find a way to get that early spy win, momentum can spiral out of control very quickly. DOWSEY on the spy side has started things off relatively slowly, with a step into conversation for 34% flirt and not much else yet.
Yeah, it looks like there we were trying to request a drink from the ambassador, but he ends up rejecting it, so we ended up just twitching to not get Toby to offer us again. But we probably would have taken an early print. DOWSEY slow playing here, not going to get highlight for those early statue highlights, which it seems like Alexare is going for here in the early game.
Green test on the timer flirt brings us up to 85%, and DOWSEY is still hanging around, which is unusual.
Yeah, maybe looking for a bug opportunity. It's very tempting here. We're so close. Ambassador's being offered another drink. If he takes this one, maybe we'll even go for another drink take. Looks like it. And here's the request. Starting off with a fingerprint's going to be a good start on this map. We only need 1 more, and we're already made decent mission progress. Now's not even a bad time to BB.
Unfortunately, it's not the real double agent we're in conversation with. Getting the print off of the drink, trying to get it off of the briefcase, but getting low lit off of a good briefcase cancel now with 2 minutes left to play. DOWSEY's a little bit under the gun as far as the timer is concerned, but without the laser heat on him, he has a lot of room to work to get these missions done. I just don't think he realizes it.
Yeah, that was an amazing cancel. Looks like we wanted that early print, just get it done. Oh, now we're just cheesing this bug. We might even know we're low lit. Looks like we're going to read here for a little bit, maybe trying to fake like we were at the green shelf all along, but obviously Alexare not going to catch that. Can DOWSEY complete missions in time?
It's going to be tight, but I think, especially after that little play, it looks like he's definitely going to try. Minute and 20 seconds left to play. Here comes the contact on the white test.
Banana bread.
Bit of a long one does come off. Few lowlights coming out of it, but doesn't really matter because we are among them. 1 minute left to play. We have a print. We have 2 flirts. We just took the purloin on a white test, completely under the radar as well. I don't even think it's been noticed yet.
Yeah, lowlight taking the drink. They're not going to be seen. And now a double agent being offered a drink. The sniper's not going to notice this purloin for a long time. We only need 1 print, 1 flirt. We can time out if we need to, but it's not ideal.
This is huge for DOWSEY.
The ST goes to statues. We are going to have to chase here.
And we do indeed, picking up the inspects instead of the flirt. The flirt target leaves. So we do get the 2 inspects on the statues and hits the green swap as well on the way out. 20 seconds remaining. One more mission needs to be gotten.
Oh, the desperation action priorities probably got to DOWSEY there. Definitely wanted that flirt there. Would have made this game much easier, but now we're gonna have to get another set of inspects or one flirt.
But as it turns out, the shot just comes off. It was a difficult situation for DOWSEY, but Alexare gives him a free pass by just taking a shot, and DOWSEY goes up 1-0 early on.
Yeah, even in that situation, I think DOWSEY has the game on lock because the flirt target is going to stay there at the statues, and even if she leaves, we can still get an inspect, but would have cut it real close on the time. Thankfully, Alexare bailed us out there. Give me one moment.
Just let me know when you're ready.
Ready when you are now.
All right, perfect. Let's see how Alexare starts things off on the spy side. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Tempting to want to go for those pathing lowlights, but sometimes the spy can replicate him excellently. DOWSEY doing a good job getting himself lowlit there. Now let's see if Alexare can replicate. Hopefully he knows about DOWSEY's highlighting strategy. Looks like he's
Definitely
just
looked
gonna...
like there was an opportunity for a bug on the way into the bookcase here. DOWSEY was on a bit of a long rotation, but Alexare didn't wind up taking it, just hanging out at the bookcase, possibly getting ready to start some microfilm business. And indeed he does. The animation transfer, DOWSEY zoomed in on the other side of the map, completely off camera.
Yeah, looks like we're in good shape here. Maybe even a bug on the way out.
Opts not to, but with the blue film in pocket, we've got some room to work moving forward as we step into a conversation with nobody interesting in it.
Yeah, it looks like this is actually turning out to be quite a similar game, except we're not really waiting for fingerprints. So without fingerprint on the table really for us, oh, this is good. We're going to get seduced and microphone here. This is looking good now. And this conversation is decent cover, so good chance for
Lots
Alexare
and
to get away
lots
here.
of cover with the conversation here, but Alexare playing things really very carefully. Now that DOWSEY swings around, no, isn't able to get it off in time, just puts the book right back where he found it. Does have the 34% flirt to show for it, though, and entered conversation just now with the double agent.
Yeah, it doesn't look too bad.
Banana
We had the
bread.
read that DOWSEY was watching him very closely for that. So not going for it. BB here, looking pretty solid from his perspective. This is the ideal conversation you want a BB in because you get all perspectives of the map. So you can
Three
tell who's in
lowlights.
and out.
3 lowlights from the contact, and the green purloin comes off. Gets taken very quickly, though. DOWSEY very much zooming in on the tray. I don't know if he's noticed yet that the list is gone. Now it looks like he definitely has. A couple of lowlights on the far end.
Oh, and we're going to the red bookcase. This might be tough to get away with. The microfilm, in my opinion, is the hardest on this book.
But we
Can he
do
get away with
have
it?
cover from the seduction target. And Toby as well for a little bit there. Actually just pulls out the red book and heads into windows.
We would have liked to see him go for it there, but maybe Alexare not wanting to take his chances, knowing DOWSEY does definitely pay quite a bit of attention to microphone here. But we're still in good shape. We're just going to return. Probably microphone on the way here. We have to get some mission progress.
And
Yeah.
gets caught on the animation transfer and shot down. DOWSEY goes up 2-0. It seemed like there were a lot of good opportunities for the animation transfer that didn't get taken, and by the time he was out of time and had to go for it anyways, there was absolutely no cover, and it was a desperation move.
Yeah, you just gotta, in this game, you have to pick your battles, pick what risks you want to take, and decided to just take the wrong risk there with no cover there. Too easy for DOWSEY to spot. I'm not sure how it would have went if we had done it at the green bookshelf or the red bookshelf, but like picking those risks a little bit more than going for the wide open red microfilm action transfer.
Yep, sometimes you just run out of time and you have to try something. In this case, DOWSEY was on it. Goes up 2-0 as we step into the map that nobody is used to playing. pub any 3 of 5. The missions that have been taken out here by DOWSEY are both the swap and the purloin. So it's going to be very much a soft tell map. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, this map is crazy different. So many AI can finish, so the sniper really has to be on the game watching flirts, which is probably the hardest thing to do if you're not used to this kind of playstyle. Looks like DOWSEY's just wanted to chase the ST there, but unfortunately gets into a spot where she can't follow her anymore.
It's especially bad with AI finishing because there's only the one inspect needed. So anyone who goes to statues at all is automatically in danger of finishing missions. Steps into bar to grab the first flirt. And because the purloin is off, this is a very innocent location to be.
Yeah, not too much there going on. We did flirt before requesting, so that might have been noticed, but I don't think so. Alexare, he has a decent amount of games, but not that many, I think, to be tracking this. DOWSEY also aggressively flirting. I don't think he respects Alexare's behavioralist game that much. Maybe he just goes for a quick soft tail finish here.
Green test on the second flirt does bring him up to 85% with 2 minutes and 10 seconds left to play. Still lots of room to work, lots of time on the clock, but we're going to have to start moving sooner or later.
Yeah, it depends all on this BB. Right now, it's looking terrible. There's so many people out of conversation. But if the conversations can fill up and the DA can get in there, then our tables might turn. We might just be able to get an inspect and seduce and quickly win.
Ooh, it looked like the double agent was stepping into conversation and DOWSEY went to go meet him, but in fact was just taking the briefcase and now is heading inside. So that was a really unfortunate turnaround from the double agent there. Is, however, able to get his last flirt from this conversation, and with 1:20 to play, gets his first completion.
We're in pretty good shape here. It all just shapes up on how this double agent gets in conversation and will be good for us for this BB.
Well, he
Back when
does.
this map had 10 guests on it, it used to be impossible. Now with 12, it's more reasonable.
Double agent does get in a conversation, but it's the lonely one at the far side, and we don't chase him fast enough to keep him in there, and he just winds up going back indoors again. DOWSEY, really realizing he's running out of time here, has to step into statues to give himself a good opportunity to finish missions here.
Yeah, needing to space out the missions, going for the inspect first before flirt. I think this is good, especially since we are hoping for the DA to get in at the last possible second.
30 seconds to play. Finally, the double agent being friendly and entering a conversation that we can actually use him at. DOWSEY is going to give chase, but the safety's off! The shot comes off, and DOWSEY takes the first 3.
Wow, I wonder what Twin did there with no BB. That's a pretty bold shot. Maybe completed fingerprints? Let's check the replay.
Well, went to the early statue visit. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, it seems like he didn't have that much mission progress at all. Did not have prints. Did attempt to go for a briefcase, but did a redirect. And then ended up going to a conversation and flirting, but with no BB. I don't think the shot can quite come off there. But I mean, DOWSEY was going to BB there in probably the next 5 seconds, so likely that Twin dies there anyways. Unfortunate there.
Indeed. DOWSEY off to a very early lead, and Alexare on the spy side would really like to find something from this. Otherwise, he's going to be in a very, very difficult spot. Let's see how he plays this on the spy side in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
As previously mentioned, this map can be really weird to play as when you're a spy. most of your chances are going to be frame opportunities, looking for people completing inspects. It's either you go for the hard flame or you go for the soft tail finish, and it's tough to pick between those two. Let's see if Alexare can adapt to this very peculiar map.
Slow start, though. First 30 seconds gone with no progress, but there is a possible lineup for the bug here.
Bug is tempting, especially when it's inside the bar. It can be very strong. Unfortunately, not going to be strong anywhere else. Alexare resisting temptation, but DOWSEY had a great angle to hold it. So I think that was a great decision.
DOWSEY knew that the ambassador was in a dangerous position there and positioned the camera accordingly to pick up any possible bugs that were coming through. 1 minute gone and no progress.
Not too many highlights either, just Cowboy so far. However, the far statue does have fingerprints, and Orange Dress just gets a highlight for a fingerprint, so if she goes to that statue, DOWSEY might be tempted to shoot.
Well, finally, the seduction target is in a place where it's easy to get the seduce on her. Ambassador steps into a position where it's there's a fairly easy bug opportunity, but DOWSEY again paying a lot of attention, and Alexare not able to take the chance on it. Still no progress with 1 minute and 45 seconds to play. Finally now taking his first flirt on the white test brings him up to 34%, but this is less time than you have on balcony.
That's true, and it's kind of crazy how viable this strategy can be. You see this happen all the time where spies just don't do anything and still pull out wins. It's crazy to think that with one flirt and 1.5 minutes left to go, that Alexare still is in a winnable position here. Ooh, then really ugly path though to the bar. AI will cut the corner on the corner of the pub. They'll like hug it very tightly. Taking that wide path is very suspicious if you're aware of it.
Takes the fingerprintable statue though. That could definitely be a bad idea, as Alexare just got right up to the top of the suspect list. Has a fingerprint, has the inspect, has the one flirt, but the shot comes off! Sometimes the AI are just a little bit too much on a map like this, and Alexare finds a way on the board.
Yeah, there Disney does break an animation to pick up a briefcase, so that looks very strange. So I'm actually curious if DOWSEY thought that was an animation break and thus had to shoot Disney there.
Yeah, I can confirm. Here, and I've kind of been burnt for this multiple times in on pub especially, but when the AI decide they're going to pick up a briefcase underneath them, they'll kind of go into their second idle animation. And so you can see Disney goes out of his resting pose here, then picks up the briefcase. Safety comes off originally because I wanted to shoot for the animation break. Thought briefcase shenanigans, but this was actually Disney's second fingerprint, had inspect as well, and so decided it was my best shot.
Yeah, Disney being active there, potentially done. So a totally reasonable shot there.
I don't like the decision from Alexare at the end with so little progress to go for a fingerprintable statue. That was a very... That's the kind of thing that can lose you a game, but it wound up working out. Alexare is, in fact, on the board, stepping into the sniper side of Library 5 of 8. DOWSEY on the spy end in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
So maybe Alexare feeling pretty decent here, but now we jump right back into the big map. The transition can be crazy for both the spy and the sniper, so very weird trying to adapt. I found a lot of games where I just want to slow play on Library, just because I just put a very slow map.
DOWSEY with a little bit of a duck behind the pillar there. I'm not really sure why, but winds up just hanging out at windows for a bit. Really hiding behind this pillar, gunning for a bug here, is visible. That ponytail is in an unfortunate position, just sticking a little bit out from the pillar there. Is able to get the bug, though, and that's what DOWSEY was making this whole play for. It works out exactly as planned. The flirt comes off. The contact into the BB split comes off. DOWSEY now at green bookcase with a lot of progress under his belt and almost 3 minutes to play.
I advocate for pillar strats all the time, so +1 DOWSEY. Good job. Alice, unfortunately, not the best because you do have to be very careful with the ponytail, but she blends in really nicely with the dark furniture all around, so good stuff. And also we have the green book, and it hasn't been marked. I feel like we might even be able to just finish this up with like more than a minute left on the clock. We're so far ahead right now.
Lots of movement from DOWSEY, but we did get both the green test on the second flirt to bring us up to 85%, as well as the last one on the way back across. Back into green bookcase, interestingly enough, not going for the transfer microfilm too quickly, so still 2 minutes left to play, lots of time left in this game. 3 completions on the board as well as we put the book away and take the highlight, but that could have been a mission completion, quite likely.
Yeah, it seems like Alexare going for that because he thought that he did not know where the book came from and was worried about DOWSEY potentially being done. That's the sad thing about returning a book. You have to trust that the sniper is good enough to catch it in the first place.
Got the 3 inspects at center statues there. Now 1 minute and 30, just a little bit less actually on the clock. 1 mission left to get. Purloin still on the table. Swap still on the table if we need fast missions. Ooh, look at this. DOWSEY twitching over behind the pillar and behind the double agent, trying to hide as much as possible.
Yeah, it looks like maybe even trying to get into a spot where Toby will request a drink. Looks like we're just trying to hide as much as possible to stay out of the radar. I think Alexare would be very suspicious if you think that your top suspect just went to middle just did microphone and middle statues. Purloin comes off.
Purloin has come off double agent to distract, and Alexare was completely none the wiser. DOWSEY, with a really pretty game on library, gets another one on the board. It's 4-1.
Yeah, hitting him from all sides there. I would almost say that was a rush. Even though we did end the game at 45 seconds, we did a lot of missions very quickly there. So good pacing by DOWSEY. Just kind of doing all the missions and being successful. Alexare not ready for the pillar strats.
Absolutely. And Alexare once again finds himself in a difficult situation, down 4-1. This is why quite often you want to snipe first to avoid these kind of situations where you always feel like you're behind off the score. But when you're not winning your sniper games, it doesn't quite work out like that. Now he needs to find a spy win to keep pace with DOWSEY and hopefully find a way back in on the next map. Let's see how he plays this in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, the momentum in this game is seriously real. The psychological game, we don't really talk about it that much, but the way you think is just, and the way you're feeling before coming into a match is so huge. So Alexare really on the back foot here is going to have to stay strong and play a really excellent spy game to get back into this.
And once again, a relatively slow start. Just hangs out in innocent conversation and finishes the drink.
That was incorrect. Once we sipped, we should have left. And DOWSEY, fortunately, just not looking at us, so there wasn't much activity going on the left side, so thankfully we get away with that.
It's so hard to catch those little things on a map as big and as busy as library, but does pull out a green book, is stepping over towards the seduction target and the double agent. So a very useful conversation here with green book in hand. Now he's starting to move as he picks up his first flirt for 34%.
Absolutely. And catching flirt, thankfully that means your attention's going to be divided. But the scary part is that you might just pick up free wins when the spy's not even prepared for it.
Banana bread.
Alexare here looking pretty decent though.
Oh no! The early leave from the contact lets off the cough. And DOWSEY swung around at the exact right time, and that will put Alexare down 5-1.
That is unfortunate.
Banana bread.
You do have to wait for the whole bar to fill up before you leave the conversation. It was probably at about 90% and just left a half second too early. Wanted to get that split off, tapped quick so he could get to that microphone really quickly and put it in. And hopefully, I think he'd be in a good spot there. With 2 missions completed, flirt, 2 more flirts to go. We're definitely in good pace there. But unfortunately, we just mistime it by the slightest second.
And I believe that puts DOWSEY on match point. Alexare has to win the next 4 games to force extra time. Not a situation you want to be in, but we do get to start things out from the sniper side of Courtyard. Historically, this is where you want to be if you need that sniper win, but we have seen a huge number of spy wins on Courtyard recently, so it's not as comforting as it used to be. Let's see if DOWSEY can close the match out right here and now. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, and it's funny that you talk about comforting. The stigma on this map is that you should not shoot until you see the hardtail. And that's just the scariest part. If the spy can get that hardtail free, that bug free, the swap free, that's the game won, because snipers really aren't going to shoot until they see that hardtail, just the way the stigma is right now with the meta.
DOWSEY
So
starts
can get
things
that.
out with 51% on the flirt to start the game off. So a very nice little start there. You can see him swinging around a lot, trying to scope out the party, figure out where everything is. It's really unusual how downward DOWSEY looks.
Yeah, it looks like he might be looking for a print, maybe a reverse bug. This is a good position, and White Dress is a very good character to bug. But it looks like we're just going to take the drink here. We did request, so definitely aware of the prints here. Just going to play this a slow game. White Dress is incredibly poor at hardtails besides bug, and very slow. So I do like going for a slow game here.
Picking up the early print is something a lot of spies don't do, but it gives you a lot of options moving later on into the game, and it can be very powerful near the end. Usually, when you're trying these sorts of strategies, you'll try for a few difficult fingerprints early on to see if you can slip one by the sniper, but DOWSEY
Banana bread.
just grabs one cleanly off the drink, picks up a contact shortly afterwards that lets off, I think, just the one low light. They were highlight beforehand, but that's still really good.
Yeah, from so far in this game, Alexare hasn't been really trying to catch flirts too much, just trying to focus on those hardtails. So I think Fingerprint's a pretty challenging option, especially versus a player like Alexare. I think he has about 1,000 games, so I think softails are one of, like, I would say these players' weakest points.
Contact is done, flirt is done, just now getting the last fingerprint off of the briefcase here. It was a bit of a weird leave away from the last flirt, but it wasn't caught by Alexare, and now DOWSEY just gets highlight for the statue. I think that might be game.
That is a very clean ballroom game. This is how you want to play when you have fingerprints. The ambassador didn't even touch that many. DOWSEY took the only 2 fingerprints available, but not getting highlight for that second briefcase means that DOWSEY, I think, is going to seal this up. Tough for Alexare to shoot.
Especially if you miss that first fingerprint, there's not much you can do, and DOWSEY locks up the match in convincing fashion, 6-1.
Nice play from both sides. I think it mostly came down to DOWSEY riding the momentum off of that first veranda win being low lit. That probably made Alexare doubt himself a little bit for the rest of the match, and then DOWSEY just kept on playing confidently and was able to just end up breaking Alexare in the end. Really nice play from both players, though. Sad to see Alexare go. He did a great job in groups.
Yeah, he did, but DOWSEY, the #1 finisher in the Challenger Swiss, a very, very scary player, and probably one of the favorites for the Summer Cup in its entirety. There are a couple of people in here who could definitely give him a run for his money, but DOWSEY is very much up there, does advance to the round of 8 after that win. And a strong showing.
That was I was happy with my performance that game. Clearly one civilian shot, but pub only 3 out of 5. I don't think anyone's going to complain about that. Huge GGs to Alexare. It's a tough when the momentum gets against you. I've been there before. And good luck to him in his future SpyParty endeavors. I'm looking forward to seeing how he develops as a player.